What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are jumping into Truck World Australia, and this is going to be my review of it. I like to call this game Australian Truck Simulator is what I will call it from now on. I'm going to give you guys a full review of this demo and what the game's supposed to be, give you guys the good, the bad, the ugly, and test everything in between. We're going to be testing all the graphics, we're going to be testing the physics, the driving, the sounds, everything. Now, please bear with me. I am going to compare this game a lot to two other games, or three other games really. It's going to be American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, just because those two games are the ones that most people know of, most people play. If you're interested in those games, you're probably interested in this game, as well as I feel like those two games have set the bar. But I'm also going to be comparing this game, whatever I tried to say there, going to be comparing this game to Alaska Road Truckers, one of the videos I just recently did, the very recent video. I tested that game out and gave my full review of it. So I'm going to be really hard on this review as well. So please bear with me. Also, I did make a slight mistake here in just a little bit. I'm going to show you guys when I was recording this video. I went through all the graphic settings and wanted to make the graphics as best as I possibly could. And I didn't realize what it had did. And I will go over that as a disclaimer when we get there. So starting right off, so far I have to say this is a very detailed map already, even though this is a very small map for the demo. You actually have NPCs, both AI like people, and you have cars. So the cars I was quite interested to see right off the bat. The whole world feels pretty lively, if you will, already. I mean, you've got AI drivers, some pretty nice cars on it. The sounds are pretty good too. Now, I am absolutely hoping that they do come out with some kind of mods for this game. You guys know I love my mods in almost every game. See some nice trucks sitting over there already. But this truck right here is our baby, and I absolutely love it. I actually built a road train style truck in American Truck Simulator. But also, one thing I want to point out, I have a mixed load is what we are hauling here, and I absolutely love that. That's one thing I wish other truck games would incorporate more of, is mixed loads. Now, I am delivering this entire trailer to just one place, but I'm hoping that means we're going to have mixed loads where we will actually have to unload at several different stops before we're completely empty. That's something I've wanted for a long time, but as you guys can see, I'm playing around with it, testing it. You do actually have to connect and disconnect your trailer. I think that is absolutely awesome feature to do. And you can see you can already kind of customize the truck already to begin with. Now, I am also hoping that in the future, that is something that they will give us, is being able to customize trucks and making trucks kind of our own thing. One thing I also thought was cool is you do have to check and secure your load. I'm sure going down the road when this game comes out that you will probably have strap failures, or straps maybe get loose on you while you're driving down the road, or maybe there's gonna be like a side mission of bad straps or something like that. You can't drop the ramps or anything, but I thought that was a nice little detail anyways. So far, right off the bat, and look, there I am trying to get in the driver side of the truck, or the passenger side in this case. You know, guys know I'm used to American Truck Simulator, so I tried to get in the passenger side of this one. Right off the bat, the interior is quite detailed very well. You do have a CB radio, which we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. You can actually use it for just a few things, but I do like the fact that the interior is pretty detailed. You know, I'd say it's not 100% accurate, but that's okay. We are just playing a game, of course. But you do have physical buttons in there. And I did go through all the settings and get it completely mapped out and get my steering wheel and button box, gear shifter, and everything. Listen to that. It actually sounds pretty good. Got a nice air horn on it too, or a train horn in this case, because we are kind of a road train anyways. As you can see right there, you do have lights too. The other thing to point out that I already noticed is you do also have exhaust smoke, which I also like a lot. I really feel like a lot of truck games need that. Now, again, as I had said, the sounds aren't great by any means. It's not like some other mods in other truck games where the sounds are better. But of course, for a base game, especially for a demo, I think it sounds pretty good. And I like the exhaust smoke on that. It does look pretty good. Now, like I said, I'm going to be comparing this to a lot of different games, but I'm not going to let that hold against whether or not I would recommend this game so far. So, full transparency, I am very, very excited for this game to come out full release. This will be a game that I am going to buy most likely. I'll just go ahead and put it out there like that right there. But so far, I adjusted all my settings and everything, and I am driving in a manual mode with the clutch. It does feel really, really good. Now, I did run into an issue where I was not allowed, or it wouldn't let me program a 10th gear into the truck for some reason. So I couldn't ever shift to 10th gear for some reason. So you guys are going to see me running redlined. What is going on? Did y'all see that car sitting right there? Let's see if I can... Let's see, nobody's coming this way. If you guys look right there, there's a car just sitting there. I don't know what he is doing. I guess some of the AI drivers have already glitched out a little bit. But you guys will see I am going to be... Oops. So there's what I was talking about. You do have a CB radio, but that is kind of pre-programmed into the game. I didn't push a button. And as you can see, the driver, your character, does also have a voice. So that's pretty cool. And then right here, you'll see I made a mistake. American Truck Simulator guy here. I was driving on the wrong side of the road. I'm still used to American Truck Simulator that I started driving on the right side, even though in Australia they drive on the left. I haven't been forced to drive on the left side of the road since I think it was Forza Horizon 3 when we went to Australia. So you guys are going to have to bear with me. But like I was saying, I will be driving this pinned in ninth gear going down the road here because for some reason it wouldn't let me shift into 10th gear. Now, as I was saying, full transparency, I did make a slight mistake when I was recording this because shortly after this point right here coming up, you're going to see it. I did adjust the settings and I changed the way the aspect ratio was in game. So you're about to see it's going to be cropped down a little bit. So what I'd recommend if you're watching this on mobile, just grab each side of your screen and zoom in a little bit to fill your screen. But I did try to crop it post editing here, as you can see right here. There it is. Please forgive me for that and don't hold it against me. I didn't realize that that would do that in the settings of the game. On my end, it didn't change anything, but in the settings of the game, it did. So please bear with me on that. That's not normally how I do things. Again, still small creator here, just trying to get through and trying to give you guys the best content I can. Now, like I said, we are going to be testing the sounds, the stability, the physics, and including the crash physics. So right here, going off-road, with the steering wheel, I absolutely noticed the difference. You guys can already see this, the truck was kind of shaking around a little bit. The stability of the truck is definitely a lot better in this game, and you can see there is somewhat of crash physics when I hit those little mile markers there. We're going to hold off on hitting the signs just yet because I am afraid about the damage. Now, shaking the steering wheel just like that, you guys can see the truck is still pretty stable. That was one of the complaints I had in Alaskan Road Truckers is the truck was too planted. It was very stable. Now, I will say this game, base game here in the demo, already started off where when you shake the steering wheel around, you can feel the steering with the force feedback fighting against you, which feels really, really good. So you can see that if you go too fast, you can lose control, as well as taking turns too fast. You guys are going to see there is some curved roads, some pretty hard curves coming up the road here at full speed where I go way too fast around a turn and the truck does slightly become harder to control. I do like that a lot. So they did really good, even though it does feel planted in some areas. It's not terribly planted where you can take turns going 150 miles an hour, of course, and it actually, hold to the ground. Okay, now one of the complaints I do also have right there, you guys just saw me, I slammed on my brakes going full speed. The truck did come to a pretty steady stop pretty quickly, and it stayed really stable is the word I was actually looking for there, not steady, but it stayed really stable even at full speed, slamming on the brakes, and it stopped pretty quickly. I'm hoping that's something that can be adjusted in the future where you can change your braking intensity like you can in ATS and ETS, because I really like to feel the weight behind me, and I want to have to like stand on my brake while playing the game and avoid crashes and things like that. So right off the bat, that's really my only complaint I have so far. I will say the landscape here, obviously it's Australia, so it's wide open. I've never been to Australia personally, but from all the other games and movies and everything, Mad Max and Forza Horizon 3, everything that you see, it does look just like Australia. It's very vast and open. Now, we will see here shortly in this video exactly how much farther can you go off of the road, and I'll show you guys that as well as we're going to test the off-road features and stuff. Now, I will say, as a spoiler, there is a coming up spot. They do have mud physics in the game, as well as a dynamic dirt system, if you can call it that, where your truck will actually get dirty as you're driving down dirt roads or going through mud, what have you. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, they do also have dynamic weather in the game. I was not able to force it to be in bad weather. Like, you can actually have sandstorms that can damage your truck and be real hard to see and everything like that. Both times I played this, I actually played this twice, I wasn't able to force it. You're going to hear it being talked about over the CB radio to, I guess, our dispatcher is who she is. You'll hear it being talked about and they want us to get out. I tried to force it to happen twice and I couldn't get the sandstorm to happen, unfortunately. So somebody can comment below what it's like to be in the sandstorm in the game if it does damage your truck. Now, I know this is a demo, so I don't believe the damage is actually on in the game based on some further events coming down the road here, as you guys are going to see. At least I didn't experience any damage with what I did. But right here, you guys can see You do actually have dynamic things that happen, like dynamic crashes and road closures. I chose the off-road way because I wanted to test out the off-road physics, but you can go back and help the people out towing their stuff off the road and what have you. I actually chose going through the mud. So right here, you're going to see there is a crash straight ahead. And of course, we're going to go to the left here. Now, this is where I got really, really excited about this game while I was playing it, was this mud physics. So right in front of this tractor, you guys are going to start to see the actual mud itself. So there is like a dirt trail coming behind the truck, but there's the mud. And of course, I'm going to choose the roughest way to go through and watch the tires. Right there, they do actually sink down, and you do have independent suspension on the truck, which I am happy to see. It's not like it's just a big block with wheels going down the road. Now, fun fact, I was going through that pinned in a higher gear. The truck did get stuck, so you do have to drop it to a lower gear, which you'll see as soon as you drop it to a lower gear, you plow right through it. Now, I didn't come back to this and really test whether or not there is terrain deformation where the road kind of like the dirt and the mud and everything moves. It does appear like it is, but it could just be a graphical illusion, if you will. But to me, it looks like there was formation or deformation there in the mud with our tires going through it. I did think it was a really cool fact. Now you can actually see how dirty the truck is actually getting, and I will do a closer up view walking around the truck here shortly. But the truck is really, really dirty now, and I do absolutely love that. That is something that I wish other truck games, cough, cough, ATS and ETS, I really wish they would have a dynamically dirty truck, especially because there is truck washes all over the map in that game. It would be cool to actually have a dirty truck and be able to clean it. Now, right here, I wanted to test the crash physics, starting with just a light little love tap at highway speeds, matching their speed. Just going up, giving them a little love tap to see what would happen. And right here, I lost it a little bit. It was a little hard because we're going around the turn. Come on, baby. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. And right. Boom. So there is crash physics. You saw him kind of bounce just a little bit, but there is no damage physics on the car. At least there's not the soft body damage physics, I should call it. But of course, we're not playing BeamNG Drive either. Now, that is a totally different game that has superior crash physics. We'll get into that game later on down the road. I do own that and like that game a lot, but we'll get into that eventually. But like I was saying, that was just a small little love tap. Now, we are going to test at a much faster speed. Let's see if I can get him. Of course, we're going around another turn, and I was hoping I could just hit him and swerve off, but let's hit him okay, so he hit his brakes. He just let us pass him. We'll try this next one down the road. So once it looks like the AI is going to crash, they actually hit their brakes to stop. Let's try pit maneuvering him. Oh, no, he's going too fast. Well, he hit his brakes now. Come on. All right, we'll have to catch up to him. Oh, he's going way faster. Probably because I can't get into 10th gear in the truck unless I put it in automatic mode. We'll catch up here in just a minute. We'll really be able to hit him. So while we're here, let's try a full speed head-on collision, shall we? Let's see what that really looks like and what the crash physics look like. So let's go into oncoming, full speed. Boom! Oh, yeah. He actually rolled over. Okay, so that's cool. Oh, now look, he's stuck on the front of me. Now I look like a Twisted Metal character from Twisted Metal Black. Comment below if you know the name of that character, if you even remember Twisted Metal Black. But anyways, I thought that was really cool that there was actual somewhat of crash physics. You didn't just hit the car and come to a screeching halt, cough, cough, Alaska Road Truckers. That really bums me out when games do that. It just, both cars just come to a stop. Oh, and there is sign crash physics as well, too. So that's pretty cool. The sounds sound pretty good, as well as they do bounce off. So I really like that. I do like the fact that the cars actually react when you hit them. You don't just come to a complete stop going 60 miles an hour. And what happens if I sideswipe with a trailer? Yeah, not really much of anything. He kind of got knocked a little bit to the left, but not much of anything. Now, I did look on the front. There was no damage physics, or at least no damage to the truck. Soft body anyway, like you can't see a bent fender or a bent bumper or anything like that. At least not in the demo, of course. I don't know if that's going to be a thing in the game. Now, do keep in mind that this is technically an early access demo anyways, if you want to call it an early access game. It's just a demo. There is no full release yet at the time of me recording this. Of course, at the time of me recording this, it's late December of 2025, so depending on whenever you're watching this, the game may fully be released. I'm not entirely sure. It all depends, of course. But as of right now, there is no official release date. So it leaves me a lot to question what all is going to be in the game. One thing I'm really hoping for, obviously we're in Australia, so it'd be really nice to be able to drive anywhere in the world anywhere in the map of Australia. The continent of Australia, I guess, would be maybe the better way to say it. I'm really hoping you can have the major cities and everything like that, and they have the beautiful coastlines, but of course they have these big deserts just like this right here. Now, I am going to be testing here shortly after we drop this load off. I'm going to show you guys. Yes, the view is absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks really, really good. They got the landscape as far as the eye can see there, which I really, really like. Unlike some other games where it just kind of cuts off and doesn't render in past the view, and you can actually see the mountains and everything rendering in. So I do really like that a lot. However, not everything you see is drivable, unfortunately, and we'll go over that here in a few minutes. Now, again, as I was talking about the terrain, one thing I really like, you do have like the dust particles and stuff as you're driving down a dirt road. The handling and the physics of these dirt roads, yes, there's a big difference. The truck is still pretty stable. However, you can feel when I go back to first person, you'll see it. The steering wheel is going crazy going down the road. Unlike a more recent game like Alaska Road Truckers, it was just planted. It didn't matter whether you were on dirt, mud, whatever, ice, whatever. It didn't matter. The truck was just planted and the steering didn't move at all. This right here, you can see that's not me. Now I'm slightly turning it, but you can see how much the steering wheel is bouncing back. So you can tell an absolute difference depending on the terrain that you're driving on. Now right here is pretty cool. I'm pulling up to where you have to actually deliver this load. You do actually have to somewhat check in, if you will call it that. You have to actually check in and then drive over and deliver it. Now we are going to test a little bit more here when we deliver this, so this is pretty cool. But when I get out of the truck here, you will finally be able to see the dirt. Look at that. So I think that looks really, really good. Now, you can hear it right there. It did kick into like a high idle. I'm not sure if that's because it has like regen in the game or if it's simulating because it's cold and it's got a high idle on it, as well as you can kind of see that smoke. They both could be a glitch with the way I stopped and got out of the truck, and the truck could be kind of coded for thinking that I'm still moving. So the engine is obviously revved up and there's still smoke coming out of it. Or perhaps there's that dust coming out the bottom of it because there's like a fan on in the engine. I'm not entirely sure. I just noticed that and it slightly bothered me, but I understand that there's a greater cause for everything. It could not meant to be there, or maybe it is. So right there, the dispatcher is talking about a sandstorm coming here very soon.
Find a place to park the rig and unload. Over.
Nice work, Iron. Once you're done, let us know. And if parking gets a bit tricky out there, give us a shout on the CB. The crew at the mine can lend a hand and take care of unloading for you. Over.
So that's pretty cool. If you guys heard that, you'll actually be able to skip the unloading process, it sounds like.
This is base. We just got an update from the weather service. A sandstorm is brewing and heading towards the mine. You'll need to get that delivery done before it hits. Remember, sandstorms can cause mechanical problems, and road assistance won't be able to reach you. So get clear before it starts. Over.
Copy that, base. I'll push through and make sure it's done in time. Thanks for the heads up. Over.
So right there is exactly what I was talking about earlier. They do have sandstorms programmed in the game, which I absolutely love. Now, both times that I played this recording it, I was not able to simulate the sandstorm. I couldn't get it to render in, or whatever you want to call it. I couldn't get to spawn in or anything. I was really hoping for it so I could show it off and see what it did. But it does sound like in the full game, or the full access version of this game, it'll actually cause damage to your truck, and I'm sure it'll cause road hazards and everything like that. It'll be similar to driving with the brutal graphics mod in the fog on American Truck Simulator. For those of you that followed along and saw those videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, I am excited for that. I just unfortunately wasn't able to test it in this. And I had played this game for about 2 hours, maybe a little bit less than that, honestly, about an hour and a half if I take out all the time going through the settings and trying to adjust everything and get everything just right. Now, back in the trailer is pretty nice. However, I will say they need to have a zoom in button where you can zoom in kind of like American Truck Simulator has when you're in first person, because I really couldn't see out of those mirrors a lot. And I did just back into the wall there. I just wanted to see if the trailer would wobble, and as you guys saw, it did. So the trailer is not very planted either. So similar to Alaskan Road Truckers is what I'm experiencing here, where the trailer is less stable than the truck. However, the truck might be just a little bit too stable. Now, again, this is just a demo, and it may be something in the settings that you can change. But once again, just like I had said earlier, you do actually have to drop the trailer, and I do like this. You do actually have to do it in a specific order. As you guys can see, I was trying to unlatch the pin there, or unlatch the lock, or unpin the lock, whatever you want to call it, and I didn't realize you had to drop the or disconnect the airlines from it before you could do so. And I also didn't realize you had to hold the button that it was requiring. I was just trying to push it. And then just like that, when you hold it, it drops up just like that. I think that is absolutely awesome. Now, I was curious to know more about the trailers, whether or not they have physics like these trailers right here, if you can hit them and push them. So we're going to hit this one right here. Unfortunately, nothing, but you did see the back of the truck did just bounce up. So those trailers, like I said, they're just there for looks. They're not for anything. Now, another cool fact, you do actually have to check out before you leave. So we're going to pull up right here and check out. And I wish I would have thought about it. We would have taken a closer look at this truck sitting right here. That's probably the other truck in the game. Of course, you can kind of tell right there. It's only meant to be just a graphic thing sitting there, where there's not actually any detail on it, but still cool to see some cab over trucks in it, or at least some other different trucks other than just the road train style truck like this. And then there I go again, trying to get in on the passenger side. You know, I'm still used to American Truck Simulator and playing those games. Now, one thing I will say that road train, or the Alaska Road Truckers had, is the actual animations of getting in and out of the truck, as well as opening the hood and things like that. I did like that about that game. But so far, my overall impressions of this game, I absolutely love it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I do have the graphics completely maxed out. And as you guys can see, there was absolutely no frame rate drop whatsoever. And I didn't get it to crash or anything like that. Now, as you can see there, that is the end of the demo. So we kicked it off again. Now, this is where I'm really going to kind of go crazy. And we're going to go off-road. We're going to hit stuff. And we're going to test the boundaries. How far off the road can you go, as I've already teased earlier in this. So right there, you guys can see the truck is bouncing around off-road. So I absolutely love that. I am expecting there to be more off-roading style deliveries. If you guys aren't familiar with Australia and the way to deliver stuff, they do have to go through some pretty treacherous terrain. So I absolutely love the fact that the truck does have physics for off-roading, and there is mud physics as well, as we already saw earlier on. I am very excited about that. Now, overall, I will say this game has been very, very fun. It has a lot of potential. I will say right now, just off of playing this demo, I absolutely will be buying the full game whenever it comes out. There is no official release date yet. So right here, we're going to test the boundary. I saw that there was a fence right there, and I wanted to see if you can smash through it. So off-roading, and nothing. We did almost flip the truck, though. And there you can see the suspension all working independently, bouncing the truck. And then I saw a rock right here, so I wanted to see if you can push the rock or clip through it. And it does actually have physics, too. So, and again, there is no crash or damage or scratches or anything like that. So if I hit a fence and it stops me, I wanted to see what would happen if I don't hit a fence. If we just find a random way to go full speed and just drive into the sunset in the desert, what would happen? We're about to test that right here. Let's hit the sign. So that's cool. The sign does. I should have hit that power line pole too to see what else had destruction. But the signs will go flying, which I do kind of like. Now let's go through here. And going a little off-roading pretty fast. And let's see how much further we can go. Boom! Yep. Okay, so you do have boundaries. As you guys can see, you hit an invisible wall, just like other trucking games and other very popular games as well. And I found a little dirt road here, so I wanted to see where it would go. So we're driving over here. It does look like there already is some other delivery spots in the game, and you'll be able to kind of drive down these dirt roads. But right here, no physics. You can't crash through a gate, and there is no physics in these rocks. Again, this is just a demo. They probably didn't expect people like me to kind of go off-road and really test and push the limits here. All in all, I have to say I am, like I said, very, very excited for this full release of the game. This is something that I will be buying. You know, a couple of the pros it has, it does have good graphics. It does seem to be pretty stable in terms of maxing out the graphics, and there's not a whole lot of frame rate drop, as well as it is a very playable game. I feel like you have your mud physics. You also have somewhat of crash physics. I'd say they're pretty on par with American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator in terms of crash physics. Maybe a little bit better in this game, honestly, especially with the way when you hit other cars on how they react. So you guys are going to have to comment below and let me know, what are you most excited for about this game? Are you planning on buying this game? Are you going to try the demo? What did you think about the demo if you've already tried it? Comment below and let me know. Also comment below if you want to see another game on the channel review. I do play a lot of simulator games, a lot of driving simulator games specifically, but I am kind of venturing into a little bit more here in the future. And I always like to hear everybody else's feedback on what they think about this game specifically that I'm playing or other games that are coming out. I am very excited for it. Now, it does seem like there is a lot of trucking games, trucking simulator games coming out in the near future between this, American Truck Simulator obviously out, then you've got Road King's game coming out, you got Alaskan Truckers or Alaskan Road Truckers coming out. There's a lot of truck games coming out, so the bar has been set pretty high, but I think this is going to be really, really good. It's going to make a lot of them step their game up, if you will, especially Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator. They're going to have to step their game up to really keep that bar high. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for coming out, watching the channel. Don't forget to hit that, smash that like button. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, or at least go check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find just as entertaining as this one. So thank you guys all for coming out today and watching the video. And as always, everybody, I will see y'all in the next video.